So, André,
Yes, please.
what made you decide to start filming specifically for YouTube?
Actually, it was a friend of mine when we renovated the first house, and I showed her some photographs of this renovation process. And she just said, why don't you film and put it on YouTube, because there are so many different YouTubers renovating something. And that's when we got the second house that I started to film from the very beginning. And as everybody knows, in the very beginning it's just 37 subscribers, it has been. So I never expected it to become as massive as it did in the end. But in the very beginning it was just for showing some friends how the renovation is doing and the entire process. That was the idea.
And what do your friends and family think of you becoming a big popular YouTube star?
I'm not a big popular YouTube star. I'm just a YouTuber, a tiny YouTuber.
A YouTube influencer.
I'm not even an influencer. I mean, maybe one day they will buy my trousers. One day.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. My mom, she watches every episode, and she reads all the comments below each episode, and sometimes she even wants to answer. No, it's like this. No. It's quite funny, and my mom always gives me a call saying, André, you have to take care of this, and people asking these questions and questions like this, and where is Laszlo? And it's quite funny because she's already giving me directions what to do and how to behave in front of the camera. That's very funny. It's very funny. And my brother, who actually is a mechanical engineer, last week he was here for a visit, and it was quite funny because he went onto the dock, and he was just one step after the other, and he just said, I don't trust you. I don't trust you that this really works and that it's really stable. I said, yes, just go ahead. And in the end, he was convinced. So everything seems to be safe and sound, and I got his approval as well.
Good.
Although that he is much more perfectionist as I am. So when you see, for example, his camper, so every detail is completely perfect.
So it runs in the family?
Well, in some parts of the family at least.
Excellent. So which task in the little house are you most proud of completing so far? Which job, which task?
The facade.
Yeah.
So the front side and the roof of the porch, I think. Of course, this is the most obvious one. When you see the house, you think, okay, it's a beautiful house and it's already ready and there's nothing more to do, and you know it. On the inside, it's completely different thing. But yes, most proud I'm of the facade of the house.
Curbside appeal, André.
Curbside appeal, yeah.
Yes.
And that the garden has changed completely, or the yard, because it was a mess 2 years ago, and this was a bigger undertaking as well.
Yes,
Huge transformation.
Your first video, it was a complete
overgrown,
couldn't see the house.
Like this, yeah. Crazy, completely crazy, and it has been there like this for years. I think when we first saw it, I mean, we didn't even see the house. It was completely hidden behind this overgrown stuff.
Yeah, no, very big difference. I guess that's a sort of job that you can instantly see your impact, your improvement on it. What is one of your most frustrating mistakes that you've made, and how did you fix it?
You want the short list?
Sure. Yeah, which one would you most frustrated at?
They're just funny little accidents. Yeah. No, just kidding. The biggest mistake was here in the first house. The window to the porch. It's not really plumb and horizontal. No, vertical. So it's like this. So when you open the window, it remains open. It always. So this is the biggest mistake I ever made. But nobody sees it, to be honest. Only me.
Until now.
Until now.
Do you find renovation work relaxing or stressful? Or a bit of both?
I can completely lose myself while renovating. So, because most of the time I'm renovating on my own, and it is some kind of well, I wouldn't call it meditation, but comparable to this in a way, because I'm completely on my own, in my own world. I do my own stuff. Most of it is just thinking and how to manage things, and this is something I really enjoy. It's becoming more and more stressful as soon as the camera is on.
Yes.
Because then I always I'm not just focused on my work anymore, because I still got an eye on the camera. Is the camera still running? Do I hide anything? How to position myself so that the camera gets everything. So this is sometimes a bit more stressful, because I'm not completely alone anymore, because there is somebody watching.
Yes.
And all of a sudden it's becoming more public what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you've got to think about noise and light and...
Yes, of course. Right now that we are talking, I'm listening to the kid over there, and I'm listening to the plane over there. And right now I see that there's a leaf in my face, so there's a little bit of shadow in my face now. So this is always the case. So in the very beginning I completely lost myself in this renovation process, and right now I always take care of the camera. So, and this makes it hard just to lose myself.
Yes.
But I still enjoy it, I really do. And on the positive side, the thing with the camera is that I get so many positive reactions. And I really, really enjoy it. So every time when I put a new video on YouTube, I try to read nearly all of the comments. Sometimes it's not doable, but most of the time I try to read all the comments. And which is quite nice, because when you see comments under my videos, be it on Patreon or be it on YouTube, there's hardly ever a negative comment. So when you see other YouTube channels, there are lots of these haters and blah blah blah. And in my entire YouTube career, I think three negative comments.
That's not bad.
Out of 10,000, 15,000.
Yeah.
So just 3 negative comments that are still on my mind, but most of them always just positive. It's lovely.
You can't please everybody, but the vast majority of people love. Has it been weird having one of your patrons here?
In the very beginning it was. When I was at the airport picking you up, I just thought, okay, it takes a lot of courage of you. You fly to a foreign country, to a man you don't know in person. I mean, you've seen him somewhere on your computer, on your mobile or whatever. So you're flying to somebody you don't know at all. And this man is taking you to a place where you don't even know where it is.
In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere. And you spend a whole week with somebody you don't know. You think you know him, but you don't know him at all. And so it was much more brave of you as it was of me.
I don't know. You're getting inviting a complete stranger to come.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, but I invite complete strangers nearly every week, so
that's true.
It's a different thing.
And has it been weird working with another person in a tiny house?
Yes. I mean, you can tell in the very beginning, because I'm so used of working on my own. I always position my tools everywhere. So, for example, when I'm standing on a ladder, I take care that the hammer is very close by, so that I can just grab it and do something. And in this case, all of a sudden, there was somebody standing there next to me, assisting, giving me the hammer, rearranging things, and this was very, 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 very unusual in the very beginning, but I got used to it. So
Like a surgeon.
yeah, like a surgeon. So every time I just received a hammer, so I can go on. So I got used to it. So we can continue for the next month if you want to.
Unfortunately, I have to go back home. So next week you will have to put all your things. Can't you?
Yeah, it's sad.
Here's another one. What is your favourite new tool? Because I was lucky enough to use some of the new equipment you've got. Which one is your favourite?
My miter saw.
Yeah.
It was the biggest investment so far.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one would be this airless spray paint thing.
Yeah, because you hate painting.
I hate painting, and this makes it so easy to paint, and it's just like this, and the entire fence was painted. So I think these both of them. So the spray painter and the miter saw.
It saves you a lot of time, especially if you're working on your own.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you always enjoyed doing renovation work as sort of a pastime? Or is it quite a recent thing since you bought the first house?
When I was a little kid, I changed the... How do you call the paper that you put on the wall?
Wallpaper?
Of course, the wallpaper in my children's bedroom.
Yeah.
In my own bedroom. So I was something like 10 years old, and then I decided, okay, the wallpaper looks terrible, I want to change it. And my mom just said, okay, if you want to change it, then do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I started. And when I was even younger, I loved to play with Lego.
Ah, yes.
So always building little tiny buildings. So never anything else. I was just like an architect, always like a Lego architect.
Yeah.
Always building tiny houses and little castles and everything.
Yeah, me too.
So this was always my thing.
So are you completely self-taught, or have you done any training, carpentry training, or just
More or
where
less
did you go?
just YouTube, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just watching YouTube tutorials.
So,
I think we have to change places now.
okay.
Just something like 10 centimeters because of the light. Are we still on camera? No, we are not. Now we are. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. I still have an eye on the camera.
So you can't quite. So whilst you're thinking of the responses, you can't. Okay.
I love getting interviewed. It's like psychotherapy. Therapy.
Psychotherapy. So you need to lie back. Do you often get comments asking about your camera setup and your
No.
YouTube gear?
No.
No.
No. So some people ask, so what kind of camera setup do you use? But to be honest, no. Well, it's just two different actually it's three different cameras. It's two GoPros for the internal shots when everything is dusty and dirty, and a Canon M50 for the beauty shots, as I call them. So when I do when I film flowers and landscapes and stuff, so then I use the M50. Or right now I'm using the M50. But most of the time it's just the GoPro because it's much more. Do you say robust?
Robust, yeah.
Yeah.
Durable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what software do you use for the editing?
For editing, I use a freeware software. It's called Shotcut.
Shotcut.
I got it from the internet, recommended by another YouTuber. And I've got another one from Adobe, but I never used it, to be honest. So I always used the freeware.
Yeah, Shotcut.
Shotcut.
No, Shortcut.
Shortcut. I think it was Shotcut. Shortcut. I don't know.
Okay. And how long does it normally take you to edit a single video?
So usually a single video takes something between 6 and 8 hours to edit. So the editing itself is something like 6 hours. So when it's a longer video, like 15 minutes up to 20 minutes. So editing itself takes 6 hours, and to over voice and to balance all the different sound it takes another 2 hours. So in the end, it's more or less 8 hours every Sunday.
Yeah, so
It is quite a lot of work, and people are surprised. For example, last week my brother, when he was visiting and I've been editing, and he was very surprised, saying, so detailed this work is. And yes, I said I have to take care of every transition between every sequence. Would it be a hard cut or whatever? And I take care of the music so that the music is at the right time with the right rhythm. When I do my dubbing, for example, no, it's not dubbing. When I overvoice, I always take care that I don't overvoice completely the entire music, so that you can still hear the music. And it's quite a lot of work. Yeah, it is.
And do you enjoy the editing? Not having to do the editing, but the process of editing. Is it a bit like renovation work where you lose yourself in the job for a little bit?
I prefer to renovate, to be honest. I mean, as I already said in another video, I used to be a journalist, a TV journalist. So I know all this. I know this stuff. And although as a journalist you usually have somebody to do the editing next to you, so I am very much used to things like this. But I prefer to renovate.
Yeah.
This is much more fun. But on the other hand, I still think I want my videos to look as good as can be.
Yeah.
So I always try to avoid that you know it already, that I leave, for example, from this side and enter stage back from this side.
Yeah.
So I try to avoid mistakes in the editing or mistakes in the continuity.
So you said you learned a lot from watching YouTube. Do you have any YouTube channels that you like to follow? And are they renovation channels, or is it a wide mix of things?
Quite funny, most of the videos that I follow, or the YouTubers that I follow, are actually renovation channels. So it's Homemade Home. I subscribed this one. It's 1806 Stonehouse. You know?
Yeah, I follow both of those.
Okay. Anything else? This different channel. It's just called DIY Ferrand, so different. And anything else in the renovation world? So mainly these 3 channels are the channels that I watch most of the time.
Yeah. Good.
Every week, nearly.
Let's think of another question. Do you know where most of your audience comes from? Do you get a sort of any information from YouTube that says like most of your audience is from Germany or UK,
from Germany? It's just 3% of my audience. So there is nearly nobody watching from Germany. And most of my audience is from America. I mean like US America. Around 50-something%, so really massive. UK, Australia, New Zealand. But then there are many smaller amounts or smaller groups. Like Iceland, Indonesia, so nearly from all of the world. But nearly 50% are from US America. So, yeah.
Excellent. Do you have any other hobbies that you like doing other than renovation, or do you just not have time with work and filming? And
I have no time at the moment. So, of course, there are hobbies. I like reading. I like writing, for example. I once started to write a book. I didn't finish. But one day I will, maybe. So, but right now I don't have the time. So 5 days a week I work as a teacher, on Saturday as a builder on my own building site, and the 7th day as an editor. So
Yeah.
I have no time at all.
So does this mean there could be a Renovation East book
No.
in a few years' time?
No, for sure not.
Okay. Have you decided yet how you're going to decorate the tiny house?
No.
Have you thought about colours or no?
So only from the outside, and this was decision made by the patrons.
Mhm.
So I just gave a choice between yellow and brown or whatever. I don't know what it's gonna look on the inside.
Yeah.
So it's work in progress. It's completely work in progress. So it's always just It's exactly. It's too far ahead. So I'm still focused on the bathroom. So right now I have an idea how the bathroom will look. So I already have a favorite kind of tile that I would like to use. But I don't. I don't have this clear vision in my mind. So this is how it's gonna look.
Mm.
I mean, of course, I got an idea of the floor plan, how it's going to look in the end, and where to put the little kitchen and everything. But
Not the details.
Not the details, not a final color scheme or anything like this.
And do you know what project you're probably going to work on after the bathroom is complete?
The bedroom.
The bedroom.
Bathroom, bedroom. So my goal is that next year, in summer, the next patron will stay here in the guest bedroom.
Mhm.
So, well, actually, this was the plan for this year. It didn't happen. But, so the plan is that next year, in summer, the next visiting patron will stay in the guest bedroom. So it has to be ready by spring, I hope. Deadline. So there is definitely a deadline in my head. This part of the building has to be ready so that somebody can stay there. And there has to be a door that you can close so that it's dust-free and everything's working. So this is my deadline and my goal. Yep.
Okay. And have you got any advice that you would give to people doing their own renovation project, such as myself?
Set yourself tiny targets. Because when you think, okay, I have to do this, and I have to do this, then it's like massive. Mm. But when you think like, okay, by the end of this week, I want this to be finished. Yeah. Just tiny little targets, not the big targets. So everything has to be finished by. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just think, okay, this weekend I just want to do this wall. I want to plaster. So just tiny doable targets.
Little achievable ones.
Yeah, because this was my mistake as well. Because I wanted to do everything at the same time, and in the end you lose yourself completely on your building site. Because then you start here, you start there, you start there, and you start all those different projects, and in the end you're in the middle of a complete chaos. And I mean, I know what I'm talking about. So just give yourself little targets, small targets, doable targets, achievable ones.
Yeah. What questions do you most get asked in the comments from your viewers and patrons?
Most of the comments are not really questions. Most of the comments are real comments like, well done, I like what you do, I like your voice, I like your music. So most of the comments are just positive, supportive comments. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So sometimes there are questions. For example, right now at the moment, everybody always asks, why is there no insulation behind the plaster wall? Mm-hmm. Because usually, and that's right, usually you would put insulation behind the plaster wall. But in this case, because I will put insulation on the outside of the building, I just thought it's not necessary. And it's a wet room, and maybe it's not that good when there is no space between the plaster and the brick wall. And in this case, there is a little space so that the plaster board can breathe.
Yeah.
and maybe dry out or whatever. So that was my idea, because I'm very much afraid of mold in a small room like this, and when you have a shower and everything. So, but this question over the last 3 weeks came nearly every time. Why is there no insulation behind the plasterboard?
And you told me your mum was asking you the same question.
Yes, my mum told me they want to know why there is no insulation, and I just said, tell them that.
Oh, very good. Okay. Not as organised as Oprah.
But nearly.
Nearly.
Nearly. Question for you.
Okay.
How is or how has this work this week been for you? How was it to see me working?
Better than expected. Not that I thought it would be bad. I just I thought it might be a bit weird. I'm seeing everything on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been nice. It's been relaxing. I've enjoyed helping you.
Mm-hmm.
It's given me.
Thank you very much for helping me.
Yeah, no, it's been good, and it's made me want to go back and finish some of my renovation work. But also, you are as nice in person as you are on screen. So sometimes that's not always the case, but
Thank you.
You're exactly the same. So he's just as friendly, and so is Laszlo, and the little community. It's lovely.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You want to do? Have you got any more questions for me?
No.
No.
That was just my question. So I just thought after a week maybe it's good to know.
Yeah. No, it's been really enjoyable, and it's been very relaxing for me. I enjoy doing renovation work, similarly to you, so meditative, and to be productive. So to see start where you need to finish a job, and then at the end of the day you can see the work that you've done. Really good.
Thank you.
Good.
So next year there will be another visit. So another chance for another patron.
Yeah. Very lucky person. And another random draw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, André.
So now I have something to edit.
You do.